Part 3, the point. So, with all this stuff going on, with me not getting paperwork, with all this stuff going on with my family, and whenever I come up and ask them for help, hey, I could use some help. Can we figure out what doctor you brought me to at 7? Or can we try to look into what mom was doing to me? Or, I have a neurological disorder for 25 years. I really could use a doctor. All I get is bull back. And then I just suffer for years and years and years. And it's not like people didn't see it. I mean, like my nephew, he saw me play tennis barefoot on like a sandpaper till the bottom of my feet were bleeding. I don't think anybody else could have done that and say, hey, you want to play another match? I did hurt a little bit the next day, but I barely felt it until it really sunk down because I feel it in my muscles, but my skin isn't. Like if they try to draw my blood in like an area where my muscles are, like the upper arm, I have a little more pain and I have some nerve clusters and I can feel the needle. But if they inject my blood on the lower arm where it's almost all skin, where it's just skin and bone, I'm fine. I barely can feel it. You can pretty much pinch me there. I can play on sandpaper. I can cut there, and I feel very little to nothing. I do feel, but it's not intense. It's very different than before I was 7. And here's another thing. My voice changes. If I shut down my nervous system, like in the middle of the night, close my eyes, stop using my body, and try to lower the shocking in my spine, my voice comes back because the voice in my head is my real voice, and sometimes you'll hear it. Sometimes you'll hear the real voice of Zach. But ever since that seizure and ever since the druggings and all that stuff going on, it gets high pitched, goes up, and you'll hear as the voltage goes up in my body, as my limbs shake more, as I can't walk more, as I can't talk more, you'll hear me stutter and have more problems. My pitch of my voice goes up. Some people read that as a homosexual voice, but what it is I was a crippled voice. That's a voice of somebody who had bad shit happen to him and has never got treatment. And this is the problem. I go to the doctors, my mother's walls are there. I tried to go to my father or some of my family, and guess what? They like to use the walls against me. And meanwhile, the whole world sees me shake, fall, bleed, and for 25 years. It's just wrong. My father's seen enough. My family's seen enough. The teachers saw enough. The doctors before my mother got into evasive action mode saw enough. Things were getting done until my mother said, "Oh shit, Zach knows," because I spoke up at a doctor and another doctor and another doctor. I didn't know my mother could screw me if I did that. I was only 7. I was only trying to get help. But instead, I gave my mother knowledge that allowed her to take evasive action, avoid responsibility, and now I'm hurt. I am so hurt. And I've been hurt for 25 years. And at least I know why now. At least I am smart enough to figure out why. I have the information. You can tell me why yourself. I'm just telling you what happened. You can put the puzzle together on your own. But I can tell you what this means. It means my mother has a mental illness that wasn't being treated. She tried to avoid responsibility for an overdose. She went nuts with medications. She gave me medications that were and were not on the list. She used them illegally and improperly, and it caused damage to her son's body. And then she trafficked me to different states to avoid responsibility. She knew if she moved to another state, that was better for her. My mother would have never moved to Texas if she didn't already hear me speak up about this in the doctor's office. And if she didn't already know an emergency happened and she left me to die on a pile of newspapers. If she didn't already know she was acting inappropriately. But she did already know these things. So when she heard she had an opportunity to traffic me to another state, she took it. And don't forget, I'm an orphan in foster care. So I got adopted, had my name changed, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm 7. I'm not responsible for any of this crap. But I'm the one who has to pay the price, and I'm still paying it today. I'm 31, suffering, and I don't think I'll live much longer. And I've gone to doctors, I go back, but there's a wall that has to be broken down before I'm ever going to get medical care. They're going to continue not paying for stuff, not running any testing, and we need like years of testing. We need a lot of testing done. We need a lot of in hospital. Even hospitals are like traumatic to me now, seeing as my mother wielded doctors like weapons, and I've got so much malpractice in my life that I'm scared of doctors and hospitals. But that's the only place that's going to help me, and they're going to need to keep me for like EMU visits for a week. They've already tried one, but they had an issue with the medication, so we got to go back. It's just impossible to do this without transportation either. I can't walk. I don't have a wheelchair, and I won't get one until we start this process. But nobody wants to drive me. Nobody wants to get me to the doctors, so I'm forced to crawl around or use canes. And I don't even have money for canes. I literally have to beg for the money for the canes because my father screwed up my Social Security. I won't get Social Security until some of this stuff is fixed. So I'm forced to live with $0 with medical issues, and the doctors want me to go use what money for it? And don't forget, I need toilet paper and things too. So I just in no shape. And this all can be fixed this week. My father could literally give me a ride to the doctors, take responsibility for what he saw. My other family members could get involved. I could go to the doctors even though I really don't want to. I'm going to keep going anyways. I'm going now. Why not go then? I'm going to keep on doing hospital visits. I'll keep doing what I need to do. They've already got enough documentation. It's not like they can't see it. It's not like it's not there. So it's a very obvious. And if you put enough pressure, then it gets a lot worse. But if I get any worse, I won't be able to speak. So we need me in at least this condition or better. And every day I'm getting worse. The only reason why I can speak to you now is I haven't moved my legs or arms or my eyeballs in like since I picked up the phone. And that's all. I just pick up the phone, press play, close my eyes, put my arms down, and then I can talk more clearly. And this is terrible. Nobody should have to go through this because somebody else doesn't want to take responsibility for their actions or because somebody didn't get the mental health help they needed. Instead, they projected it onto me, and then I had to learn all this to give it back to them. I mean, yeah, it helped me a lot too. I mean, when somebody does this to you and you have PTSD and anxiety for the rest of your life from it, of course that can be helpful. But it's not helpful if we don't have what really happened down on paper. We have something really wrong with me and it needs to be fixed. And I am tired of going through this for my entire life. And I am losing it. I am losing my strength. I'm losing my legs. I'm losing my arm. I'm losing my ability to speak. I'm losing everything. And if I'm going to lose everything, I better stop this from happening to anybody else. At least I can do that on the way out. Because if this could happen to me and nobody's going to help me, well, I better help the person that comes after me. Because if this could be done to me, and if this could be like done with nobody caring, then that means it could happen to somebody else. And I'm the only person that knows. So I'm the only person that can stop it from happening again. And that's a responsibility I have to take.